Okay, how about that? I think I needed to unmute myself. Took me a while to figure that out. So I am Pam Hovick, co-director of operations, for those of you who may not know me, and we are now going to the business part of our meeting, and I would like to call the meeting to order. And it looks like we definitely have a quorum, and so we can conduct business. For this current meeting, Marty Slovan is our secretary. She will be taking minutes. For last year's meeting, we have minutes, of course. They were recorded by Elsie Haley, who was our secretary at the time. And we had appointed Marcia Verba and Frank Bennett as our readers for last year's minutes. They have read them and approved them, and therefore we do not need to approve them as a body, and we'll accept them as read. And for this year, Kathleen Brennan and Peg Oldham have agreed to be our readers for this meeting, readers of the minutes when they're done, and therefore they are so appointed. And with that, we will go on to the next agenda item, and that is a description of our league structure. And Marty is starting that out to talk about the history. Marty, I think you're on mute, or
yeah,
maybe
I'm just doing the same thing here.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Not used to having to do that.
No.
All right, let's see. It's not showing me. I don't know. Is that a problem?
I can see you.
Okay, good. All right. We just thought it would be helpful. I think sometimes we are aware that some of our members aren't really clear on how we are structured now that we have sort of regrouped about less than 10 years ago. And of course, we had a traditional structure from the beginning, I assume from 1932 when we began, of which I was noticing in the history book that Miss Edith Charrington was our first president, and I'm a member of the Charrington unit, so it was kind of fun to see that reference again. Anyway, we had our traditional president, 3 vice presidents, secretary, treasurer, plus the various chairs. And I think I can remember in my memory a few times when we just had the 3 vice presidents waiting for finding a president, but we did. And there were very few times that we were not without a president, and we have a long history of outstanding presidents. But then in 2005, we really we were not able to find a president originally. And I'm sure that Sandra Shreve, who saved us at that point, had probably been asked to be president every year of her existence in the league, since she's such a capable leader for the community and for the league. And so she stepped up. She ended up doing actually 3 terms again, 3 years to find another president. And then in 2009, Buzzy Hasrick and Nancy Ulrich served as a team together, and then we struggled again. So in 2012, we asked 2 representatives from Larimer County to come and talk to us about their model. They had been using, and still are, an administrative team model. And the national handbook that we looked at the time also suggested 3 options: the traditional model, of course, a shared presidency of 2 or 3 people, or a management team, such as Larimer County had. Well, we chose to stick pretty much with our original structure, but eliminating the president and using the 3 what were vice presidents, calling them directors of organization. Pam just absolutely insists on calling it operations, which is a similar word, of course. Anyway, we call it organization. She calls it operations. Anyway, and so we have 3 directors that really are fairly, they're running as what would be called a shared presidency in a sense. And each of them have different tasks under their job, just as they did when they were vice presidents. But since we don't have a president, we didn't think we could have vice presidents. And so that's why we went, for want of a better word, we went with directors, even though there are other directors on our board of directors. Anyway, in 2013, then, three of us, Pearl Ann Zalarny, Maggie Conger. I don't know if some of you remember Maggie. She was an unbelievable asset to us for the 4 or 5 years she lived in Denver. She had to move back to her, I think it was Michigan. Anyway, we updated the bylaws and actually the policies and procedures with the new language that the board had agreed on. We sent it to the annual meeting and where it was approved by the membership, and that is the same bylaws with some amendment that we are still functioning under today. So then each of our present directors are going to give you a brief summary of what the responsibilities are in their areas. And that would be first with Pam, who right now we have co-directors, Pam and March, and Pam will give us a brief summary of the area of organization.
Yes, in the area of organization, then we coordinate the secretary and treasurer functions, the development committee, membership committee, unit organization. We organize the board meetings and in particular this annual meeting. And then, of course, probably the biggest thing and most important in a lot of different ways is our coordination of the office activity. And we are so very happy to see Fran here today with us, who I think you all know is our office manager, and she's been out for a while. So we just kind of try to keep things moving and support the various functions that, you know, like membership and unit organization and development as in the committee realm, along with again the office function. So with that, I can turn it over, I think, probably to Barbara, who is going to talk about program.
Well, and program consists of researching and adopting positions at the US, Colorado, and local level. And most of you are familiar with the fact that we do have these positions. And they're published in a way. And the national is published every year on Amazon. The Colorado positions are on the website, and the Denver positions are in a book that was last published in 2015. But our job is to be familiar and knowledgeable about all of those positions, and then looking for monitoring the effect of those positions or events that affect those, have a relationship to those positions in the city of Denver, but also to respond to national and state issues that might arise. So, so the way we do that is through three different approaches. One is our monthly briefings that you all are most familiar with. And we plan and organize those briefings for presentation to the membership, but they're almost always in the context of the positions of the three levels of league. The area that we are always aspiring to do more in is advocacy. And we are in a position to do advocacy not only on all three levels, as in the case of today, the march or the community gathering that conflicted with our annual meeting, but we have members who will be leaving, and we have other members who are attending the first gathering having to do with abortion rights. And some earlier were saying that they thought there will be more opportunities to do that over the summer, it appears. But we also, this year, for example, sent a letter to City Council suggesting that they were too speedily considering a possible charter amendment. And our letter was read to the entire City Council. And then, so other activities and opportunities for advocacy. And then lastly, we have study committees, and this year we've had two, or last year and this year, we've had two study committees ongoing, one having to do with public safety and the other having to do with, I'm going to blow this word, Elsie. Say by
Non-binary.
non-binary.
Yes.
And we've all learned a great deal from, I think, both studies. And there's a history of doing studies in our league. So I think that covers it. Elsie, you're on.
Okay, the communications area obviously exists to disseminate information to a variety of audiences, from the membership to the community at large. And we do that in a number of ways. One is through publications. We have two major ones. The weekly update, which Andrea Mitchell and I do. We meet each week for that. Andrea does all the inputting of information that you send to her, and thank you for doing that. Frank Bennett also has joined us on this lately. And the second one is the voter. Pearl Ann Zalarny has continued as the editor of that, for which we're very grateful. And Marty Slovan assists her. And they focus more on long, in-depth kind of articles, which also come from you, or we hope they will. Andrea works on the website, and if you lose track in your email of the updates or the voter, you can often find information that you need on the website as well. A secondary is program support, which I think is very important. I've attended the program committee and worked with Barbara and Kathy Yates this year. I've been working on expanding our outreach and trying to involve more members in doing that, because I think people who are actively involved in organizations are more likely to get noticed than emails that we send. So I would welcome any of you who want to contribute to that. Our basic goal here is to increase attendance at our briefings and at our other events. In terms of social media, Jackie Denning has been doing an excellent job posting to our Instagram and Facebook accounts. And I would really encourage you to check those out. If you, like me, don't have a lot of social media presence, you can do what I do with the Facebook. Just ask a younger family member to bring it up and show you. And that works very well. I think you will be very proud of what you see there. I follow on Instagram, our Instagram account. And one of the other things that you will notice is you will get invitations to follow all kinds of other leagues throughout the country, which is also very interesting, I think. Under technology, Andrea works in this area, and she works across all of the areas, as you might imagine. She does an amazing job with that. I think we tend to not notice actually, when things are going well. So I want to thank Andrea for making things go well almost all the time. And that's a pretty good, if you follow other Zoom accounts, et cetera, you know that's a pretty good record. Finally, voter services, which is very ably overseen by Jeanette Scotland and Ann Duncan, and includes Denver Decides, which Nancy Ulrich and Pearl Ann and their group have been working on with some frustration this year. This is a very detailed report, so I would really encourage you to look at that report in your annual meeting booklet. Thank you. I'm not sure who this goes to next.
I'm not sure either. Does it come back to me?
No, it goes to Bobby.
Bobby.
Okay, could I just say something? Did I just?
Sure.
Go ahead,
Go
Pam.
ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to wrap this section up, although Elsie did just kind of do that, to say that that obviously there are committees in all of these areas, and many of you who are on the committees and committee chair people, and some of you who are not. And we want to thank all of those people. We're just giving kind of the high level version. And do refer to your booklets, your annual meeting booklets, because there are very good reports from all of the committees, from all of the areas, that give a very good idea of what's gone on in the last year in the league, and some things that are coming up. So thank you to everybody on that. And now to Bobby.
Thank you. I am going to give you a quick overview of our how we get money and how we spend it, because this is very important. The first, the income comes mostly from fundraising. And when we go into looking at the budget in a few minutes, that we will talk about those fundraising activities. There's also a very good report in your annual meeting booklet with details of those fundraising activities. The second area that we use for raising money is the dues that people pay when they join the league. And the third are contributions from members and also contributions from non-members. We have some supporting people in the community who are not members who give us support. And I want to thank both the members and the non-members for that. That's the majority of the income. The expenses, no big surprise, is organization, which is the office. All of the things that happen in the office are our big expenses. That's 61% of our budget. And that's followed by fundraising. And we also have per member payments, which go to the state league, the Colorado League, as well as the National League. So that's the overview. Now I'd like to take a look at the budget report and the proposed budget. Oh, before we go forward, are there any questions on that last section? Okay, this is all in your booklet if you want to look it over in more detail. This is the budget for this year, and the actuals up until April 30th. So you can see we're not done with the year yet. Our year doesn't end till June 30th, but you can see where we are. We are doing fairly well as far as expectations, and in some places we've done even better. For the income, I'm just going to point out 2 or 3 quick things, and then for the expenses, the same. The third or the fourth rather line is the budget that we are proposing for next year. It has been approved by the league, the board, but we also open it up for comments or questions or even editing from the audience. So if you feel that there's something that you see in there that you would like to change, be sure to speak up. The first line, the 2 lines that I'd like to point out are line 12, which is, line 13, the annual fundraising letter, which I'm very impressed. We send that out at the end of the year explaining what we've done for the year. And this year we raised $6,030. The second line I'd like to tell you about is line 14, which is a brand new item. We had 2 anonymous people step up and donate $2,000 each to fund an internship. And this is a very interesting idea. We would like to have someone who can be called on who would work in the office, mostly on the technology and the computer input during very busy times. This would help Fran Coleman when she's been asked to do too many things maybe at the same time. And this person would also have the chance to experience how the league works. So we're hoping that this will be both a two-way situation. Both the league will benefit and the person who fills the internship will also benefit. So this year we have $4,000 that have been donated, and they will fund that. The third thing I want to point out is line, I've got to get my glasses on because it's in the booklet, it's really small. Okay. Is the 20, the flower bulbs. The flower bulbs are our main fundraiser. And as you see, it looks a little strange that this year there's only $2,700, but that is actually left over from last year. That's the money that came in after June 30th. We are now in the middle of the flower bulb sale, and we are hoping to raise 23,000. And last year we came very close to that, 21,000. So we are looking for people to look at the website. If you are interested, there are both outdoor and indoor bulbs. So if you're in an apartment, take a look at the indoor bulbs. They are very hardy. Mine bloom over and over and over again. And I have a black thumb, so you can imagine what that means. So that's our big fundraiser. And the other thing I'd like to point out is line 22, which is right under that. And those are our fundraising events. And this year we had two very successful ones, which raised $7,006 altogether. The first one was Sisters-in-Law, which was a Supreme Court play that was over in Lowry, and that was very successful. And the second one was a non-party to celebrate our 90th anniversary. We were 90 years old. 1932, as Marty mentioned, was our first meeting for the Denver League, and now it's 1922. So, and we raised $2,600 from that. The last thing in income that is very important is that we do not quite make enough money to balance the budget. So line 27 is what we are going to we predict we will need to take from savings in order to balance the budget. However, I will quickly say, usually we do not have to take anywhere near that much from savings. Usually what happens is we get more income than we expect, because people are doing, even during the pandemic, people really did support us. So are there any questions on income? Then I'll move on to expenses. As I mentioned, our major expense is the office, so there's no surprise there. But the two things I'd like to point out are the line 75, which is the flower bulb expense. We make 23,000, but we have to spend about 8,200 to buy the bulbs. Obviously, they come from Holland, and they are very expensive. They are not terribly expensive, but they do have to be paid for. And the other thing on that line is the price for the theater. When we went to the theater, we did spend, that's line 78. We did have to spend about $2,300 to buy the theater tickets. We sold out the theater. In fact, we had tickets for people for other performances because we sold out the theater. And the bottom line, if you go down to the very last line, 108, so far this year, we are behind by $16,000. However, that is not anything to worry about because the bulb sale income comes in primarily in June. So it's a little awkward, but at the last minute, we get a tidal wave of income from the bulb sale, and that usually flips that. So it's not a deficit at the end of the year. And those are the expenses I'd like to point out. And I've already mentioned the PMP the per member payment we have to pay, which is quite a lot for the State League and the National League. That's on line 104 and 105. With that, I will ask, are there any questions on our expenses? Oh, this is going to be so easy. Okay. All right. Since they're hearing no questions, and hopefully if you do have them that you can certainly ask me. I move that we approve the budget that's been proposed for 2022, July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. And I believe the poll that's up is going to ask you, and this is quite easy. All you need to do is say yes or no and click in the little a little circle. And then at the lower right corner, click submit. And we'll find out if we passed our budget. And thank you.
Tony Larson has a question.
Marcia?
Oh, go ahead.
I just noticed that we're paying for the Colorado Social Legislation Committee. And that's in a way, but the State League does that on behalf of everybody. So you might not have to. Unless
Actually, thank you, Tony. We appreciate them so much. I think we duplicate and we're fine with that. We will continue to support them.
Okay.
They're a very good organization.
Yep.
Thank you.
I believe the poll we have up here, though, is not for approving the budget. It says program planning.
Yes, it is. If you look at the title is wrong.
Well, then I don't think we can.
That's correct. Look at the question, Pam.
Oh, the question says that.
Yeah, and so far we have 25 votes for and 0 against.
Just look at the question.
Bobby had mentioned, but we don't need a second, just for your information, because it was submitted by
that's right.
by a committee. So
Sorry about that.
No, just in case people were
Do we
curious.
have a result?
We have now 29 votes for and 0 against.
Okay, so with that, say that the motion has carried. So thank you. We have approved the budget. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
With that, can we go to Barbara, who's going to talk about program?
Yes, I was asked to give an update, and so and I've pretty well covered what we do. I would like to particularly recognize the board has been fabulous in attending the program committee meetings this year, and I really appreciate all of their participation. But we also had Cindy Sestrich, Peg Oldham, Sally Ogden. Well, Sue Stark was sort of new to everything, so I'm counting her, and then Sally, and then Patty Cordova. So I just want to thank the program committee. Our committee did work hard this year and continued to meet all through the year. I want to just mention 2 activities that I'm looking forward to our being able to accomplish next year. First is to strengthen what I think we've kind of gotten started in a small way, our Observer Corps. Several of us have been attending the city council meetings of the housing Homeless and Public Safety Committee, which meets on Wednesdays, every Wednesday almost. But interestingly, it's at 10:30 in the morning on Zoom. So it's really very easy to sit in on those. And I had no idea that it could be that easy. And so I really want to encourage others to join with me and Cindy Sestrich, who has been observing another committee. We would like to not only have observers of city council meetings, but also of the school board. So give that some thought. The other goal has a kind of emerged from our work this year, recognizing that most of the positions that the Denver League has adopted were adopted a long time ago. Most of them are dated to 1971. And our booklet, in fact, was published last in 2015. So, and we've learned from our public safety study that there is there's a need to have a larger view, a social policy, social justice view. And all of our positions almost add up to that very thing. However, they don't say it. They're somewhat detailed and specific to different agencies and different situations. So I'm hoping that the program can articulate that larger picture of a social justice planning and needs assessment that really needs to also be going on in public safety as well as social policy positions. So those are the two things. And then lastly, I just want to mention, and we'll probably be coming back to this, that there will be another poll that we'll be sending out to all of you to help us plan our briefings for next year.
I think Tony has a question.
I'm glad to see that you are trying to do more Observer Corps activities. And the State League has put together a document. If you don't have one on how to do or be in an Observer Corps, you can go to the State League and get that booklet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice to know.
I think then I'm supposed to also touch on the work of the Public Safety Committee. And before I do that, let me go back and make an important point I neglected, which is that Kathy Yates, for 2/3 of this year, was co-program director alongside me. And so all of the work that the committee, that the program area has done is not the result of one, but two people. And I do think that it takes two people to do this work. And so I really want to express appreciation to Kathy for that. And particularly then the Public Safety Committee, there's an extensive report of our work this year and our tentative recommendations. And the members of the committee were Andrea Mitchell, Chris Humphreys, Kathy Yates, and Otavia Davis. And so that committee in particular has worked really hard. That's a fabulous work, including interviewing all of the city council on their thoughts about the needs and changes that need to be taking place in Denver public safety. And then Elsie was going to present the work of the non-binary committee.
Thank you. We had a fairly busy year this year. The main work was the two briefings that we did, one in August on the use of pronouns and featuring Marvin Allen from One Colorado. The second one in February with two speakers from one from One Colorado, and oh, Andrea, you have to help me. I've forgotten her name.
Ariel DeFazio.
Ariel DeFazio, talking about certain issues of the non-binary and trans community. If you missed these briefings or any others, you might know that they are available by recording to you through the League's website. So you might want to check on some of those. The non-binary group started really out of something that we perceived to be a fairly limited goal in 2021 or 2020 actually. But as you know, the issues around LGBTQ plus rights have gotten to be more and more troubled, I guess I would say, in the last year or even the last few months, and are likely to be even more so. I saw just yesterday that there's a group of senators trying to add a warning, like a pornography warning, to any books that have LGBTQ issues or characters in them, which is horrifying. So the committee has decided to continue, probably expand a little bit on what we originally started out to do. And we will be meeting to discuss our next steps this summer. And we're also looking for opportunities for advocacy for the League. And Barbara, I think you wanted to talk too about your poll.
Well, she mentioned it.
Oh, you already mentioned it? Oh, sorry.
I mentioned it, and I think all that we are wanting to encourage all of you, including members who couldn't be here today, to complete the poll, just to give us feedback on our briefings. Particularly, we're interested in topics. Secondarily, we have some other questions that we wanted to put to the membership. And I think we concluded that we would be sending that out on Monday, am I right? Rather than right after the meeting.
Got it.
I think maybe Pam has had to step out for a second, so I'll just proceed. I think this proposed bylaws change makes perfect sense to follow Barbara's report on program, because I think she presented quite well the need for us to possibly, if not definitely, update some of our local positions. You know, we primarily depend on us.
Marty, this is Tony, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but you know, I have a soapbox. And it is, please remember to use the position books from the US and from Colorado when you're taking action. That it's not just what you do in Denver, but you can apply those other two books for action at the Denver level as well. And the other thing is, you don't have to just look at the positions for the topic that you are dealing with. You can mix and match positions. So let's say we have something dealing with low-income needs or areas where people are living, but you can also look at the environmental issues that talk about clean air. And because the areas where there are low-income people generally suffer more from poor air quality. So you can use both those positions and put them together. So we have a lot of latitude to do this. And my soapbox is, you know, let's be a little bit more flexible. Let's, you know, mix and match. Let's do everything we want to do.
My next sentence was going to be that we primarily use the state and national books to follow our, to present any kind of advocacy that we do. But we think it's very important to have opportunities to have our own bylaws up to date so that we can, in Denver, speak to some of the things at the local level, including the police issues we've talked about this year, some of the educational issues that are Denver issues, and that don't necessarily, although we can certainly use state and national, and even the principles that our organization is based on for any of those issues. But we felt like because we had looked this year, and I had summarized in a series of voters the different, all the positions that we have at the local level, which Barbara just indicated were primarily adopted in the 70s, and that we feel like we ought to have the opportunity to update those positions, not just in even numbered years, or odd numbered years, sorry, but in any year that we feel like it's time, we've studied something, we recognize the need to update a position, so that we can do that, not just in odd numbered years as our original bylaws indicate, but that we could do that in any year. And so I'm sure all of you are familiar with how this works in terms of what you see on the screen. Anything that's crossed through will be removed, and anything that's in red will be added. And so we've added a couple of things just to make it a little bit clearer how program works. You know, nothing in here says program planning. And Barbara talked about program planning, and I wish you would read her summaries in the, well, everything. I wish you'd read the whole booklet, but Barbara summarizes very eloquently, I think, what we described, what we sent in to the State League and to the National League in terms of needs to update some of the positions to make them more relate to present times. And then the State League, I don't know how many years ago, Tony, but maybe something like 5, changed the word program planning, the phrase program planning, to positions for action review. And that's really what we're talking about here is, and in here in this proposed bylaw change, the original statements talk about program as the action, the government principles adopted, the action we take for the right to vote, those local issues chosen for study and action. And so it's important that we use advocacy. I think we depend so much on the State League and the committee that Tony leads, the INC group, to speak to the state issues. And I don't think there's anything about League that I'm more proud of than that effort at the state level. But we have some things at the local level we need to work on as well. So I would, again, it does not need a second because of it being proposed by the program committee, but I would move that we adopt this change in the bylaws. It doesn't really remove anything that it doesn't replace in another way. And so it doesn't eliminate anything about program. It gives us more opportunity. So, and if there are questions, I would be happy to take them as well.
So seeing that there's no discussion, it sounds like, do we have a poll for this, Andrea, or are we taking a, okay, so we've got bylaws change. All those in favor or not, respond to the poll if you would. And when you have the results, Andrea, you can let us know.
Okay, I stopped the poll with 27 votes in favor and no votes against.
Okay, so the motion carries. Thank you. And then we'll go on to Frank on the election of board members. It's always probably going on.
As you can see on your screen, we have a slate of new officers proposed by the nominations committee. And it also shows the people who are continuing on the board. You will also notice that there are a couple of positions open. We don't have a development chair at this point because Sue Stark agreed to step in as co-director of program. And we also have an opening for a member at large. And so I'd like to ask if there are any nominations from the floor or from the ether, or whatever it is when you're doing a Zoom meeting instead of an in-person meeting. Any nominations? If
Yes,
you want to
I
make
have a
nom-
nomination.
Excellent, Joan. Thank you. Go ahead.
This is for the member at large, the Denver League of Women Voters member, Chris Humphreys, has agreed. Actually, she's provided her own interest in becoming or filling the open member at large position.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Not hearing any, I would like to propose that we simply accept the slate of officers proposed by the nominating committee with the addition of Chris Humphreys. I guess we get to vote on this too. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you approve the slate of members proposed by the nominating committee with the addition of Chris Humphreys to fill the member at large position, please vote yes. I would like to point out that we have, there's been a problem of the same people doing these jobs for many years, and we do have some new people. Terry Cookrow and Mary Giamari are joining the board, I believe, for the first time, and we're delighted to have them.
And I would like to acknowledge that we do have some people leaving the board, and like to thank them for their long and continued service. And hopefully all will continue to be very active, but Joan Friend is leaving the board, Mary Ann Thompson, Nancy Ulrich, and Marilyn Barrett. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anybody else. So thank you.
Kathy Yates.
Oh, well, and Kathy did, yes, thank you. And Kathy left earlier. So thank you to all of you. And then some people are in different roles, and that's been acknowledged too, I think. So it looks like our poll says that this motion has carried.
It did indeed.
Thank you all. Thanks, everybody. Before we move on to the special awards, I would also like to say a couple of words about Marge. Marge is moving to a different position on the board. She's now going to be at large. But she has been director of operations of organization, I think, for about 10 years now, having done obviously previous roles, and has been a 50-year plus member. So again, she's going to stay on the board at large, but I certainly wanted to acknowledge that all that she's done, and to give a special thanks from me, because she has been my mentor this last year around the director of organization role, and it's been invaluable. So thank you, Marge, for everything and for all the help that you've given me.
Okay, I guess we're ready for the big event. And I'm Joan Friend, and we're going to be giving these awards. And As you can see from the slide, the Marty Slovan Mother Lode Award is first. Then we'll have a new award, the Jedi Award. And then lastly, we will honor the Lifetime Achievement with the Shirley Weaver Suffragist. At this time, I'm going to ask that Barbara Ford introduce her Marty Slovan Award. And then I'm going to ask Jeanette Scotland to present her Marty Slovan Mother Lode Award. So please, Barbara, go ahead.
I have the distinct honor to recognize Kathy Yates for, as the, dear me, Marty Slovan Mother Lode Award individual for 2022. Kathy has just simply gone far and away beyond what one would ever imagine from a newcomer to the league. She's been a member of the league for a while, but only last year had begun to participate in voter services, and then also joined the Public Safety Committee. And the next thing she knew, as soon as she had emerged, was that I was on the nominating committee last year. So we were able to nominate her to be co-director for program. And Kathy just, she's remarkable. She holds an MBA, and she brought all of that expertise that came with her degree, plus her experience. She even worked, believe this, for the Getty Museum at one point in time. She's been a consultant to the Denver Public Schools. And most recently, her husband ran for office, which resulted in my losing her as my co-director of program this year. She gathered our program committee and kept us going so that we had a program committee that was contributing and participating throughout the year. She really amazingly organized our interviews of the city council people so that we did, I think it was 7 interviews with 2 city council persons per interview. And Kathy not only organized it, but then conducted and facilitated remarkable findings. Then after that, and along with that, she kept the public safety group going, participated, contributed in many ways, culminating with her facilitation of our briefing last month of the 2 Denver police officers. So thank you, Kathy, is all I can say. You've been a marvelous contributor to our league, and we don't intend to let you get away, whatever else you decide to do.
Kathy, please say a few words.
Thank you. First, I have to wipe away some tears. Thank you so much. I'm really very honored. I learned so much from working with everybody this year, and it really just expanded my worldview. So I feel like I benefited, and I'm really pleased that it was valuable to the organization. So I just thank you very much, and having an award with Marty's name on it to be bestowed upon me, and the recognition is really, really touching. So thank you very much. I'm very proud to be a member of this league. And Barbara has been tremendous. Her insights and approach has just been something I continue to learn from. Andrea, always ready to do whatever is needed. Chris Humphreys, expanding my understanding of what it means to feel safe. And then, of course, just I would name each and every one of you because I have learned so much from everybody that I've worked with. So thank you very much.
Jeanette?
Yes. I'm going to read from some notes because there's so much to say about this member. So the other winner of this Golden Award is a very talented note taker and a writer. In addition, she's an outstanding researcher, and she can organize material, very diverse ideas, very adeptly. She makes sure that each week all our members are really up to date on what's going on in the league. And one of the greatest skills she has learned as a league member is how to herd cats. By that I mean other league members, because she had to schedule committee meetings with very busy people, leaguers, all their schedules and trying to get everything all together. She did a great job with that. In addition, she has organized, with the help of some other cats, the programs, 2 programs this last year, but she kept everybody informed about what was happening and keeping us all on track. She's also been a member of the board, and as a cat herder, she has had to stop some of the meowing because the board members are like other leaguers. They want to share their opinions quite freely, quite at length sometimes, so that other board members are informed voters. I think that I've gotten through most of this, but she is very, very capable, and we are very lucky to have her, since she has led the production and the publication of our very own Denver League non-binary toolkit. So I'd like now to present this nugget of gold. I don't know if you can see it or not. And I don't know if it's, oh, you know what? I have to turn off my blur.
Oh, that's okay. It's okay. We can see now. That's good.
And then there's this lovely award that she can display, which might catch a little dust if she's as good a housekeeper as I am. And but it can be displayed so everybody can see it. And
Thank you.
So Elsie, I would like to award you for all the work and all the wonderful gifts you've given to our league this last year and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm a little shocked.
Well deserved.
Not everybody appreciates people who herd cats, so I really appreciate your introduction, Jeanette. Thank you so much. I just have to say the non-binary group has been the experience of a lifetime for me. I mean, I've been working with this stuff as a teacher at Metro for years, and I've learned so much, and it's so wonderful to be with a group that's so open. I've enjoyed those meetings, and I'm a person who doesn't enjoy meetings. So thank you. And for everybody that's helped me, I mean, this has been a year as Director of Communications where I've spent more time learning than doing. And I just want to thank everybody who's helped and supported me for that. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate this.
Thank you, Elsie. Now we'll be going to the Jedi Awards, and the first person to present for the Jedi Awards is going to be Barbara Ford.
I want to introduce you to Otavia Davis. She wasn't able to be here today, but she has been such a gift to, in particular, the Public Safety Committee, but to the league as a whole, I believe, because of her enthusiasm, her intelligence, her commitment. She is our next generation of league members. She's Chris Humphrey's granddaughter, sorry. And Chris has been a member of our Public Safety Committee all year and contributed a great deal to our understanding of the difficulties, the pain, the fear that African-American people in particular experience in relationship to the police and perhaps specifically to our Denver police. And but Chris brought along her granddaughter, Otavia, who and let us know that Otavia actually lost her father to police violence when she was very young. And in spite of that, Otavia has taken that painful life experience, that lifelong experience, as has Chris, but Otavia is taking it and turning it into a lifelong commitment to helping homeless people, criminally ill, homeless people. She graduated just this month from Metro State College with a degree in community counseling, and intends to go on and get her PhD, follow in the footsteps of Don Wilson Davenport. But she helped us a lot. She attended our meetings regularly. She introduced us to Dr. Davis, who facilitated the task force on police and reimagining police. She arranged for us to meet Carly Sion. She was a go-getter. She is a go-getter. She also works on the campus, or worked on the campus committee to make the police more accessible and responsive to the community. She shared her insights and her wisdom. And she gave us joy. I think along with everything else, she's a joyful person. And so I am thrilled that we're able to recognize all she contributed to us this year.
Thank you, Barbara. And now Fran Coleman will present our second Jedi Award for this year. Fran?
Good morning. I'm a little unorganized, but I promised to get organized here. But here is the award. And it's basically the Jedi Award for Justice, Equality, Diversity, and Inclusion. And I first met this young lady a little over 2 years ago, when her mom, a league member, indicated that she had just gotten out of college, was very talented, was looking to, do some volunteer work. And of course, Francis, who's always looking for work, for help, reached out, and we had a very simpatico relationship, and it continues to grow. And I just absolutely, truly enjoy working with this young lady. And her name is Lila Conley, and she's here today. She happens to be Sue Stark's daughter. And we had 2 really big projects, and they were mostly research intensive, and they were old lists of partnerships that the League of Women Voters of Denver had, but hadn't really worked on those lists. And it was like, probably over 50 organizations that we had partnered with where we had really old data. And, I basically just gave her like a thumbnail thing. Why don't you tell us who the contact person is and, what their recent address is. And I made it really simple. Instead, she came back with 3 different documents about who she spoke to, who they were, what the evolution was, and why the new person was there. She updated all those lists. It was probably over 80 hours of work. Then we had a second list that the League of Women Voters of Colorado had, and it was all the partnerships they do throughout the United States as well as in Colorado, but not Denver centered. And so Andrea Mitchell, who I meet with once a week on technology, wanted us to narrow in on the Denver organizations that would relate to us and who we would want to partner with. So those 2 lists are complete. Lila goes the extra mile. She's absolutely a joy to work with. And I love her enthusiasm. I love her optimism. Recently, she and I worked a couple months ago on technology, bringing some of what was on the League laptop and my laptop together. And she does do that on the side as well, but I am just more than thrilled to present on May 14th, 2022, in recognition of her outstanding service to our organization this year, the JEDI Award. Again, JEDI meaning justice, equality, and diversity and inclusion. So thank you, Lila. I can't thank you enough, but we hope this goes a long way.
Thank you so much. I'm truly pleased, and it's always my pleasure. So.
Oh, that's darling. Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you, Lila. Congratulations, everybody.
Lila.
Okay, now for our Marge Fish, and she will be presenting the Shirley Weaver Suffragist Award. I'm going to ask Andrea to take down the slide so that we can see everybody.
Thank you.
Who is participating as Marge introduces our Suffragist Award winner.
Marty Slobin and I would like to nominate Carolyn Eggleton for the Shirley Weaver Suffrage Award for 2022. Whoa, are you there? I see you. Hi.
Maybe
Carolyn,
we can,
Carolyn joined
Mary Alice can unmute. There you go. There you are, Carolyn.
Hi there.
Yeah.
Proud to be here. Yes.
Wait, we're not done yet. I'm still reading, okay? Carolyn joined the Denver League in 1993 and almost immediately joined the Observatory Unit, where she served as unit leader for several years. When Buffalo Unit began in the downtown restaurant, she joined that group for a new experience and perhaps to help them get going. Later, she joined the Cheeseman Unit, again where she served as unit leader and co-leader. Finally, she came full circle and rejoined Observatory most recently. What an interesting way to experience League and so many of its members. Carolyn served many years as chair and co-chair of Denver's Health Committee. These were crucial years in the League's entree into healthcare since announcing the national position in 1993, a position we use today. For many years, Carolyn was League of Women Voter Colorado volunteer lobbyist on reproductive health until she retired a few years ago. Although that is a state league position, Carolyn represented the Denver League well and always gave a thorough presentation of the year's activities at our Denver legislative wrap-ups every May. Whenever I was at the State League building, remember that, Carolyn? We worked primarily in voter service It seemed like Carolyn was also there working on legislative issues. She served on the Denver board, always sold and worked on packaging flower bulbs, and worked on mailing the voter each month, and seemed to always be willing to help with whatever project we needed her for. She was on the top of our list of call anytime members. Carolyn still attends most briefings and is just one of those members who was always there for us. Today, Carolyn, we proudly present you the 2022 Shirley Weaver Suffragettes Award. Mary Alice, do you have something there with you? Can we see it? What is it? Whoa!
It's yours.
And thank you, Mary Alice, for helping to put this all together.
Glad to do it. So happy and proud of the league for doing this. Thank you, Denver.
Oh, say so. I can't believe it.
It's true.
Can't believe that many people.
Well, she's
Okay.
I hope that Carolyn can see her family members
yes.
on the screen.
Her
and
daughter's here. And
Oh, there, I
believe her
see 'em
nephew
all.
Also.
Woo!
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
please look at the second
Oh, for
page of
heaven's sake.
participants. If you can't see them, they're there, recognizing Carolyn with us.
Well, they're very happy to share this moment with Carolyn. Thank you all.
Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you.
I don't know how to express.
Thank you, everybody.
There it is.
Yeah.
There you go.
Carolyn,
Don't.
isn't that wonderful? So proud to
But to
know that
be
you
where it
received
was
that.
and to be presented there.
Oh, yeah,
Good Lord.
absolutely. But really, you've been at this for years working with the league.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And now, and Joan, are you going to, or should I?
Well, we can go forward with the honorary members who are listed
Oh my gosh, yes.
here, who have been with the league 50 years or longer. And please take a minute to look at these names and
Well, my name is even on there.
thoughtfully remember all their contributions now and going forward. We also want to remember some of our members who are no longer on this list because they're somewhere
Well, that would
else.
be wonderful to have. if you can
And
come home.
and we want to, think about them too because they've been on the list before, but have gone on to newer lives that we have no idea about. So thank you all, and please individually, if you can, make sure that you thank these
Rhoda,
members
I recognize.
listed here for their
Novak,
contributions.
Rhoda, she was my enemy.
Right.
Thank you, Joan. And now we'd like to go to the state of the league and then ultimately member direction to the board. I'd like to just say a few words about the state of the league and then open it up to all of you to give your thoughts about that, and then also recommendations. As an organization, we're financially sound. We do take some from our savings, but we're able to do that. And really our fundraising has been so successful recently. And for this past year, we certainly have to thank Sue Stark for that, and the committee, the development committee.
Amazed at the activity
I
of
don't
your
know if we
years with
can
the league.
mute
Oh, you've done so
this,
much. So many different
as the
groups.
ladies are not.
Pam, you're now muted.
Okay, so am I back?
Yes.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, so I was saying, from the state of the league at just a very high level, I think we're financially sound. We've had very good development activity and success, and thanks to Sue Stark and the committee this past year, and many who contributed. The bulb sale has been successful in the past, and we hope it to be successful this year again. And now we have our online storefront where people can just go and click, just like buying anything at Amazon or anything else. And our certainly our signature activities of voter service and program are very active and robust. And a lot of people putting in a lot of effort around those things. I think that if I were to think in terms of what we should concentrate on and think about in terms of initiatives, and then I would like to throw it out to you. You know, we certainly always talk about membership, and that we would like to increase our membership. And, you know, we lose some members for various reasons, but we've also been getting new members, which is very good. But we'd like to increase the membership. I think one of the best ways to do that would be for all of us to try to invite, well, first of all, for all of us, certainly who are here, and as you think of other league members that you know, to invite more people and have more attendance at our briefings. We've had some wonderful briefings, and this coming up year, I'm sure we will again, and we're going to ask for your input on the kind of subjects that you're interested in. And we have perhaps a core group of people with a little variation who come to our briefings, but if we would invite more people to hear about the subjects that we talk about, I think that we would expand our scope, and it could be an entree to more membership. I think there's no better way to market ourselves, at least in terms of getting people to join us, members, and help us in our what we're trying to accomplish, than for them to first experience the briefing. So that would be the thing that I would throw out to everybody. Let's try to increase attendance to the briefings, both from other members and then people who aren't members, and with hopefully always an eye to increase our membership. And with that, I'd like to throw it out to you as a group on number one, what do you think of as the state of the league? And then what recommendations and direction do you have for the board? And I think this is going to be an open, let's see, are we all off? An open, not a chat thing. We're going to try to do this talking, but I don't know, are we on mute or not?
People will have to unmute themselves to speak up.
I'd like to speak. This is Jeanette Scotland, and in relationship to membership, I think that's a great idea. I would like to say we really give it a try, to not just a try, because a try is just you're trying, achieve mentoring new members. I think it takes one-on-one, and we could develop new friends that way, but we could also develop new leaders, and we could also develop new members.
Frank, any thoughts on inviting more men to become members of League? Sorry, you got something in your mouth.
It's lunchtime. You don't think we're well represented? Men are well represented?
Oh, you represent your
Today?
entire gender very well, yes.
I think that's a good idea, Sue. And I don't know that I'm the person to invite them. I think there are lots of other people could invite men too, but I certainly see it as, and I keep forgetting to wear my not for only women, not for women only button. But I think we need to get that word out that this is a group that men are welcome and valuable to be involved in. So good idea.
Yeah. You're muted, Pam.
Okay, sorry. I don't know how I kept getting remuted. Okay, now I'm back on, I guess. So it sounds like we have a couple of suggestions, and does anybody else have anything? And it sounds like we don't. So let's.
This is Fran. This is Fran. Sorry.
Sorry. Okay.
I'm a little slow getting to the computer, but we really need to increase diversity. And there has to be a concerted effort.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
This is Lila Connolly. I'm just wondering, would it be possible for you guys to collaborate with, state, like local colleges or even community colleges, trade schools, to get younger people involved, men and women? And then in terms of the mentoring part, I mean, basically kind of have like a big brothers, big sisters kind of thing. I just think that would be a good idea. Walking around college campuses for 11 years, I saw a lot of people handing out flyers or doing some sort of charity work or something, just getting the word out on their organizations and nonprofits and whatnot. So maybe working with the like DPS or, colleges and stuff like that might be a good idea.
Do you mean to have like a group, a league group on campus, on one of these campuses?
Right, or just someone, maybe, a couple people, 3 times a week that just went down to the campus and like handed out flyers or cards or said, hey, we're having a briefing this week about human trafficking and we were wondering if you'd like to attend. Here's the Zoom link.
Okay.
Great idea.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Great ideas. Anything else we want to add in here? So then it sounds like we are ready to go to the special drawing with Sally.
Okay, where you held out this long, hold on 5 minutes more, and you might get one of Marge's fabulous prizes. Andrea, are you going to share my screen or?
You have to share it. Go down to the bottom and say.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to try this fabulous system. We'll see if it works. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Host disabled participant sharing, screen sharing.
Let me enable you again.
Okay. Anyway, we so thank you for hanging on this long, and it's been a fabulous meeting, I think. I'm still disabled. I don't know.
Okay, it should work now, Sally.
Okay. Got it. Okay. You know, this is the technology thing. What can I say?
So
All
click
right.
on the screen you want to share
Desktop.
and then go to the lower right and say share.
Okay, all right. I wanted to do this because it was so fun, and I just practiced, and Tony won, and Tony and I won the prize on oh, this is not working. What am I? Okay, well, I can't do it. Okay, I can't. It's not. I can't make it happen. Okay, I'm going to do. Thank God Pam suggested just doing a drawing. I haven't subtracted the people who've left. You have to be here to win. Oh, I'm so disappointed. Okay, we're going to do this fast so that people get. But you have to say you're here. So Katie Brennan.
Brennan.
Yoo-hoo.
Yoo-hoo. All right. Katie gets a gift certificate to Zadie's. All right.
Wow.
All right. Second, we're gonna do Patricia.
Who's a Patricia? Patricia.
I there wasn't a last name on the.
Patricia.
Okay.
Is
All
she
right.
still here?
Patricia, is she here?
She was earlier.
Got to be here to win. Okay. Lila Connolly.
All right.
All right.
Definitely here.
Gift certificate to Zadie's. All right. Two more. We've got gift certificates to the Symphony. Nancy Ulrich.
All right.
Woohoo. All right. And I know she's here. I can see her. Anyway. All right. Marcia Verba.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Okay. All right.
Also, tickets to the symphony?
Tickets to the Symphony.
All right.
All right.
Good.
Thanks for being here. I'm so sorry my wheel didn't work. It was so fun.
It was so cute when we.
It was fabulous. And it one of our members was on the CFI thing when Tony and I each won a pie. And he said, I think the league had a fix here. It was just funny when Tony. All right. Goodbye, you guys. You're wonderful.
Well, thank you, Sally. And thanks for trying to do something very innovative. But yeah, technology is always our challenge. Maybe next time, next year. With that, we have finished our business meeting, and I would like to, thank you, Andrea, for reminding me as we go out here to remind everybody to buy bulbs and to ask your friends to buy bulbs, and that you can now order, directly online from the website by clicking on each bulb, and you can forward that on to friends. So please do that now. As in the next couple of weeks, June 10th is our cutoff for new bulb orders. So appreciate everybody's time today and all the input and all the effort that went into putting together this meeting and having a successful year this past year. And we look forward to next year too. And with that, I will call for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I so move.
And a second?
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much, and go enjoy your days and the rally.
Oh.